be connected by our experts onto the show as well, and we'll try to take as many of your stock queries as possible. On your screen, you get to see the number where you can write to us. Tell us your name, the stock that you have invested in, the buy price of that particular counter, or the stock that you wish to invest in, and the time horizon as well, and we'll try to take and get the answers on that from our experts. So let's get started, and before we start taking your queries, because a lot of these queries already started to come in, let me first welcome on board two of our very special guests onto the show. We are being joined by Kunal Bothra, who is here with us to guide us on the technical front, as well as Rajesh Agrawal, who is the head of research of AUM Capital, is joining us. A very good morning, gentlemen, and thank you so much for your time. And before we start taking the queries, Kunal, a quick take on the markets, because that is a bit worrisome, especially the kind of rupee move that we are getting to see. That's hitting a record low. Quickly, if you can help us with your take on the markets right now.
Yeah, good morning. So that rupee slide, you can say, or maybe a depreciation towards the 90.8, 90.85 mark, which we are now almost at, indicates that maybe that could be some bit of reason of weakness for the indices. But then broadly, I think we are still sticking around that 26,000 mark, plus minus 200 points for the Nifty. And I see this as a natural depreciation for the rupee, which I think over the long term could actually turn out to be very positive. It's just that over the last couple of days, you've seen that the pace of depreciation is on the slight higher side. Broadly for the indices, I think we are just in a tight kind of a consolidative band. 25,750 still remains to be a key support on the downside for the Nifty on the spot levels. On the higher side, we are looking at 26,000, 26,200 as a resistance for the Nifty over the near term.
All right, so that's the take when it comes to the benchmark indices. Let's watch out for that, and it's very critical to watch out for the movement when it comes to the rupee as well. Let's see that throughout the day we get to see any sort of a recovery over there or not, because for now even the Asian markets are not that supportive, and even the kind of handover that we have seen from the US market wasn't that great. But with this, let's move on and let's get started with all your stock-related queries. A lot of queries have already trickling in, and one by one, we'll try to take the queries during the show. We'll also get some of the callers on the show as well. And let's get started then. And the first query that I have is coming in for Kunal specifically. This is coming in from M. Methivanan. Okay, Kunal, actually this query is on Tata Investments. This is one of the recently listed counters. So let me just go and take the take of Mr. Agrawal. And Rajesh, what's your take on this particular counter wherein M. Methivanan has actually bought the shares at a price of 950 rupees? What's your take on this particular stock?
Good morning, Shakti. Good morning, Kunal. I think one has to have a long-term horizon for Tata Investment as such, because the company is good, doing very well. The assets are very high quality. The only issue is the purchase price is on a very elevated level, and that's going to take a huge lot of time to recover that. But as far as the pedigree and the fundamentals of the company are concerned, we are very bullish on this. And we have a target of around 800, 820 rupees in the next 1 year or so. So it's a long-term hold from our side.
All right, so that's the take on this particular counter. But then let's move on and let's take more WhatsApp queries. Let's take this question from Mr. Shanmuga Sundar. He's a senior citizen from Coimbatore. In fact, a regular viewer. Kunal, okay, Rajesh, I'll come to you. It's a one-year view for JSW Energy, 50 shares bought at 510. So he wants to know the further trajectory. JSW Energy at 510. Let's take a call from both of you. In fact, Rajesh, I'll start with you.
Good morning, Kavita. This is a very strong company. I would say huge capacity, doing very well. They are even going for expansion also. And with the kind of power scenario we are witnessing in our country, I think the power sector as a whole is going to do well. So at this point of time, it's a hold from our side. And by any chance it falls to around 450 odd levels, it would be a great buy. So somebody already having that can continue to hold.
All right, Kunal, your take?
See, I think it's a good stock. I would suggest to hold on to the stock, even though it's into a downward trend right now. But I think the historical trends for the stock on the longer term basis have been very attractive. It's just that over the last 12 months or 14 months broadly, even this stock has gone through a 40% kind of a correction. So it looks attractive on a long term play. If you're a long term investor, I would suggest to hold on.
All right, so that's the take coming in on JSW Energy. We have got both the fundamental as well as technical view. But let me take the next query. And Kunal, this query is coming in from Padmasiva Rao from Bangalore. Will it be good to actually go ahead and buy Vedanta for the next 3 years? What's your take?
Yeah, it makes sense to start looking at the stock on a positive side, because we are looking at a point where Vedanta has confirmed a breakout. This could also be a leadership breakout for the stock from the entire metal pack, because at a point where Tata Steel, JSW Steel, etc., they are struggling to break past about their major swing resistances with a very strong kind of a volume. Vedanta has already done it. So I think the stock is now already at 550 levels, thereabouts. We look at the recent high also, the stock made a swing high for 515, 520, sometime back, managed to cross over those levels. So which means that we are looking at a point where Vedanta has confirmed a breakout of a multi-month, multi-quarter swing high. So I think in that sense, yes, it looks attractive. But only thing you have to remember is that stocks like Vedanta are very high beta stocks. You've seen historically also that it has a capacity of going into a swift 20%, 25% correction. Or so you'll have to keep the position sizing in that sense that it's a high beta stock and it doesn't fall into those traditional low beta investments or pockets of investments which you typically look out for in a portfolio.
All right, that's a take on Vedanta. But then let's move on to something very interesting. Primary market action is all heated up in 2025 with over 100 main board IPOs so far. Now, the country has also seen its largest IPO this year with Tata Capital raising over 15,500 crores. Other marquee names like Grow, Lenskart, Misho also debut on D Street this year. But then my colleague Ishika joins in with more details and with the entire roundup. Ishika.
Yes, definitely. So 2025 has been a blockbuster year for IPOs on the primary market in general, and some of the big names debuted this year, and we had over 100 mainboard IPOs, as you said. And adding on to that, India's primary market has mobilized 5.4 lakh crore funds over 2020 to 2025. And talking about 2025 specifically, big names such as Tata Capital, the largest IPO of the year, raised more than 15,500 crores, but its listing was quite muted at around 1%. Then we also have, amongst other IPOs with good listings, we have HDB Financial. It debuted at a 13% premium among the West this year. And furthermore, we also have LG Electronics, Misho, Physicswala, all listing at good premiums. LG Electronics raised more than 11,600 crores and listed at around 50% premium. Whereas Physicswala, it also raised around 3,400 crores, more than that actually, and listed around 33% premium, as you can see here. And furthermore, talking about upcoming IPOs in 2026, we can expect a good year going ahead as well. We can expect bigger names such as Reliance, Jio, Oyo, PhonePe, SBI Mutual Fund, Flipkart, as well as others, and even NSC finally expected to debut next year in 2026. Furthermore, Equirus Capital has estimated India's primary market to collect roughly $20 billion. So that should be something we can look ahead to. And back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Ishika, for highlighting all those interesting details. But with this, viewers, it's time now to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to take more of your stock-related queries.
How are you?
I'm fine.
You can ask your question.
Yeah. Can I start now?
Yeah, Krishna, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Please ask your question. Our experts can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, hello. I have 200 shares of Andhra Sugars.
Okay. All right. Krishna, you bought it at what price?
I bought it at 125 rupees per
Okay.
share.
Okay.
Can I hold or exit?
Okay, so you, when you bought this, it was for a short period of time. What was the time duration that you
It was
have? Sorry? Okay, I think we've got the stock's name. So Kunal, I'll come to you. It's Andhra Sugar. He's talking about 200 shares as per the information shared by him. Bought at 125 and 40% of his investment he's lost. So he wants to understand now, is it the right time to switch the sector, buy any bank share or invest in maybe Ultratech Cement or Bajaj Auto or Bajaj Finance?
See, of course, I mean, as a rule in terms of your portfolio, it makes a lot of sense to make that switch from Andhra Sugar towards large cap names, formidable stocks, traditional sectors like cement, auto, banks, financials, or NBFC, etc. So I think in that sense, yes, I would definitely agree that making a switch over here could be a good strategy. But then talking of Andhra Sugar specifically, I believe that many of the sugar stocks have gone through one of the tough phase for themselves over the span of the last 12 to 24 months. We've seen stocks like Andhra Sugar also going through a more than a 50% correction, I think from 170 levels thereabout to now 65, 75, which is the recent low for the stock price. So it's gone through that very sharp phase of a correction. Maybe over the next 3 months or so, the stock would just about drag itself at current levels of 75 plus minus 10, 15 points for the stock price over that kind of a time span. But I strongly believe that there would come a phase in 2026 where many of these stocks which have fallen down by more than 50%, they would stand to see a very good recovery. Since your buy price is not on those extremes of 160, 170, purely on Andhra Sugar in terms of the charts, I would suggest a hold if you have a time frame of at least 1 to 1.5 odd year.
All right, so that's the take coming in when it comes to Andhra Sugars. But let's move on and let's get back to some of the WhatsApp-related queries. And Rajesh, coming to you for the next one, and this one is on Big Boy Reliance, wherein Anil Malhotra, who is a senior citizen writing to us from Delhi, is holding over 3,700 shares of Reliance from a price of 860 rupees. He has never sold the stock earlier, but do you believe now is the time where he can go ahead and book some profits out here and invest in some of the other counters to have that alpha generation? What's your advice, Rajesh?
Srishti, on the contrary, I have a buy call on this. Despite the fact that it has run up quite a lot in the last 1 month or so. But still, we think that's a long way to go because all the divisions, be it OTC, be it telecom, be it retail, are doing well. As well, talking of retail, they have more than 19,000 odd stores at this point of time. Largest player in telecom. The media business is doing very well. And just a matter of time when some big corporate action takes place. The management has categorically said in their AGM that in the first half of 2026, Geo IPO would be there. So there are a lot of corporate actions too. And even if that doesn't happen, the company is doing very well. I think it's a buy from a side, somebody for a long-term investor like the gentleman, which is holding from such a long period of time. I think it's not time to sell, rather it's a time to buy if your funds allow.
All right, so that's a take on Reliance Industry, but then let's move on. And this is a question on Shakti Pumps by Mr. Radhakrishna from Bangalore. And Kunal, I'll come to you. He says that he's bought it at 950. Can he add more, or it's time to book loss and move on?
No, I think I would suggest to hold on to the stock purely in the fact that the last 3 or 4 days, the stock has gone through almost like a 40 to 50% up move. I remember, I think, discussing the stock a couple of days back when the stock was at 525 odd low towards a point when stock yesterday made a high, I think around 740, 750 mark. So it's in a 40, 50% kind of a move in the last 4 or 5 days. The volumes are very strong. This generally could probably be an indication that the stock is forming a near to medium term bottom for itself. And if that happens, there could be a phase where, say, in the next 1 week, the stock may go into one more round of a correction or a mild mean reversion as such, and then try and make a comeback on the higher side. So if you have a time frame of at least 3 months, 6 months, I would sense that give it some more time, because maybe I think the move which you've seen the last 4 or 5 days should have a follow through for Shakti Pump over the medium term. So I would suggest a hold if your time frame is 3 months plus.
All right, so that's take when it comes to Shakti Pumps. The stock has been on the move for quite some days right now. But when it comes to Mankind Pharma, Rajesh, what will be your advice? Because Subrata Mukherjee from Kolkata wants to know, is it a good buying price for Mankind Pharma for a medium term?
See, it's both a pharma and a OTT play, and some of the strong brands they have doing very well. Last few months, if you see, the stock has faced a good correction, and it's high time one can start accumulating. 2000 odd levels would be a very good levels to buy. What I would suggest is go for a staggered buying at these levels of around 2100.
So that's the level on Mankind Pharma. Let's look at AB Capital, and this is again a regular viewer, Mr. Ignatius from Kolkata. And Kunal, I'll come to you because he says that he's booked profits in AB Capital on higher levels, now want to get in again. And for a re-entry, what's the level recommended, Kunal, if you have any?
See, I think the first support when I look at it on the daily charts is closer to 338, 340 for AB Capital as of now. The stock is almost at 350, 351 kind of a zone. So if you're looking at this as a short-term entry, I would suggest just slightly below the 340 mark or just at the 340ish levels is where you can look to start nibbling into the stock.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Aditya Birla Capital. But with this, viewers, it's once again time to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the other side.